Anyone else just not having kids? Not even about money for me and the missus don't want them, it's not even really a question for us. Couldn't think of anything worse. More people starting to feel the same nowadays? Late 20s, regional NSW. I come from a long line of people who neither wanted nor should have ever had kids, the cycle ends with me. Late 30s and feeling the same. Money is a big factor though. It's hard enough already getting by, especially in these times. Why make it worse? I think some people have always just not wanted kids, but the social expectations to have kids were higher, so they had them anyway and probably the results were not great. Less pressure to have kids, more freedoms, plus all the financial pressures means that more people who just didn't really want kids are just not having them. And I think it's a very good thing. There's still some older rellies out there though who are aghast there could be such a thing as a woman who doesn't want to have kids though. Mid-30s single woman, had to choose between a house deposit or freezing my eggs. I chose a house. Would love to have them, but unfortunately it just hasn't happened. Lots of people don't want kids. Power to you for making an active choice and flush people's pressure and criticism down the toilet. Pressuring people to raise children is a terrible start to a child's life. Went through a lot to realize it wasn't going to work out, health problems, money situations. We somehow lucked out with buying a house and we just realize we cannot even fathom looking after a baby child, we'd lose our minds. And people say you just adapt. I barely get any sleep as it is and stress out if I don't get my space, my wife's the same. We'd like to foster older kids in the future to help them out, but that's down the line when it seems more feasible, but having a baby would drive me insane. Yep, late 20s was when I started thinking about this and realized, wait, I don't actually want them. It's not the money or environment stuff, it's just that they're not for me. There are HUUUGE in position and you have to really want them. Now late 30s, haven't changed mind. No kids here so my cat can live like a queen. Mid-30s, missus is same age. I don't see how I would ever have the time and finances to give a child a decent go, currently. I'm not sure I'm mentally cut out for it. We're not poor, but both of us spent our youth getting out of poverty and there's things like travel we'd rather do, now that we can afford it. Mrs. and I are in our early 40s and have never regretted not having kids. I have zero interest in spending all my free time looking after other humans. I have zero interest in spending all my money looking after other humans. All I hear from workmates is how much time money their kids take up. Couldn't think of anything worse. Also, I've got no one I have to worry about how they're ever going to afford a home or how they'll probably have an awful life in 50 years, due to climate change and capitalism. Very happy with our decision. It's your choice. Having children when you know you don't want them is only going to hurt all parties, you, the children, the society which will have to deal with horrible children. Yep. 41, and my wife and I are very happy with our choice. Having kids just didn't interest us. We've never regretted our decision. We do what we want when we want to do it while not bringing little ones into a world that's almost at the point of no return. Same. I don't mind if people want kids, but the second you mention that you're child-free, you get hit with fire and brimstone. It's the most selfless thing you can do. Having a child is the most fulfilling thing in the world, blah blah. Unamused face. Nothing wrong with that. Your choice for how you and your partner want to live. Kids are chaos and hard. Late 30s for my husband, 40 for me. No thank you. We have only had the last few years together. We have eons to catch up for. We are greedy for one another's time. We have looked after our nieces, but zero interest in that being a daily thing. I'm a sole parent by choice woman, 43, and part of the problem I had dating through my 30s was that a lot of guys didn't want to have children, or weren't sure if they wanted to have them. Since I was very clear that I did want them, I proceeded on my own. It's been fantastic. Not having children is a completely valid choice. And so much better than having children because you think you should. Since you've made your choice, looking into a vasectomy would be a great thing to do. I wish all children were wanted. Meaning I wish everyone was empowered to make a deliberate, thoughtful active choice about whether they wanted kids or not. Having kids should not be the default life choice, and choosing not to have kids is not at all selfish. I'm a parent myself and love it, yet I fully support those who choose to be child-free. I had a vasectomy at 35, we don't want children. Wife was 28 at the time. I'm 23 and the idea of having kids has never appealed to me. Even playing imaginary games as a kid, I didn't find house or family games fun. I wouldn't mind being uncle to my siblings' kids if they decide to have any. I think that engagement of extended family and wider community can be really important to kids. It certainly was to me growing up. I just don't think I'm the kind of person who could sustain 18 years dedicated to a child in that way, even if it was financially viable for me. Don't feel bad for not having kids. I have two and it's bloody hard work, financially, mentally and physically. I personally wouldn't change it though. But that expectation that people should have kids is outdated. Just do what you want. It shouldn't be anyone else's business. Before we had them, my wife and I always found it infuriating when someone asked when we were having kids. It's so insensitive and no one else's business whether we do, don't or can't have them. I never really wanted kids and neither does my partner. We're in our early 30s and have been slowly losing friends to kids over the past couple of years. It has actually been very sad and I have to admit I don't feel happy when the next friend says they're trying for a baby, because I know it's over. We will rarely see them ever again. I know it's selfish and it's their choice, but I'm so over losing good friends to babies. I'm loving hearing that more and more people are realizing and becoming comfortable with speaking about not wanting to have kids. Kids are hard work day in, day out, and I think a lot of people underestimate the sacrifices involved. I work with a lot of kids whose parents aren't all that keen on being parents and it is heartbreaking. If you're at all unsure, it's unfair to then bring that child into the world to see if it is then something you're committed to. Hardest thing I ever did, and I used to tour manage indie bands, so that's saying something. Late 20s, and I've never had the desire to. I can never remember looking into the future to the age I am now and seeing myself with kids. Would much rather have a peaceful and stress-free life. Late 30s, divorced from psychologically abusive man. Finally healing and taking care of myself for once. I'm not giving that up for anyone. Realized that I wasn't prepared to do it alone because there's no guarantee your partner will live forever or your relationship will survive parenting, and wasn't capable of doing it if the kid had a disability. So, I'm out. Child-free and happy. Lucky enough to own my own place and my wife and I have kids and it's incredibly enriching to our lives. Yeah, it's hard work sometimes too. If you realize it's not for you, then good on you for not doing it. That benefits no one. There are way too many people that have kids that should not have. Either way, people should set themselves up for later in life. Having kids to look after you when you are old is kinda fucked. I have a friend who feels the same way in their mid-30s with a long-term partner and have no interest, which has allowed them to travel a fair bit lately. For me, nothing makes me happier than seeing my little man experience things for the first time and making him laugh or have a smile on his face. Each to their own. Early 30s male, I was the same, but my wife really wanted them. Now we have a little boy who turns 1 in 2 weeks and he is the light of my life. I look forward to coming home from work to see him and watch videos of him my wife sends me on my lunch break. He's filled a hole in my world I didn't know I was missing. Being a dad is the best thing I've ever done. I would have kids, but I also wouldn't want a kid to be tossed into a burning building. The earth being the building in this case. I think I would have been happy with or without kids. As it turns out I don't have kids and I am happy about it. I am an stress head and I just think I would have been a nervous wreck all the time. Are child-free all over the world? Many people are choosing not to. Sartre wrote, hell is other people. I don't know who refined it to, hell is other people's children. I don't blame you. Not just for financial or environmental reasons, whatever you choose is the right choice for you.